basic rule. First is that I'll try to be quick. I wanted to go back to...
My name is Elizabeth Schlappi. I've lived in only 2 houses my whole life, and have had the last 4 digits of my phone number my whole life. When I was born, 2 things were written in stone. 1, I would go to college. 2, when I graduated, my father would give me a car. I selected a 1958 Fathom Blue Chevy Impala, who I named Yankee because I was a rabid New York Yankee fan back then. My dad made it plain that it could only be a Ford or a Plymouth or a Chevy. In other words, the bottom class of the 3 big automakers back then. But he also said a Thunderbird is a Ford and a Corvette is a Chevy. But then he also said, I paid the freight for that trunk to go back to Hiram College in Ohio, and I want you to get all your stuff up to Berkeley. I was going to Berkeley to get my master's in history, a postgraduate deal. And so I expect you to get all your stuff in that car that you buy. So that kind of let out the Corvettes and the T-Birds. I just like the whole package. I like the way it looked. And the steering was fine for me then. And I just loved him. I said no to air conditioning, yes to heater. I said no to power steering. I wish now that I had said yes. My shoulders are not getting any stronger these days. And Yankee is quite hard to steer. He was becoming hard to steer several years ago, and then I got radial tires, and that made it easier. But he's very hard to steer. I found out after much resource right now, yes, that he was born in Van Nuys, which means he was a California car the whole time. I've spent here this 50 years thinking he was born in Detroit and probably came out here on the train. But I have been unable to find what day the whole assembled car came off the assembly line. So I really don't know what date to celebrate his birthday. He's traveled some. The very first year, he traveled the most of any because he took me back and forth to Berkeley. Then when I settled down to teach school at Cadman Elementary, which I did for 26 years, which by far and away is the most important thing that Yankee has ever done for me, was to take me back and forth to Cadman for 26 years, never failing to get there or to get back, to allow me to teach 5th grade. But I settled down to about 4,000 to 5,000 miles a year, and I did reach 100,000 miles in 20 years. Since then, Yankee's total mileage is the number of miles a beam of light goes in 1 second, which is not all that much when you consider it's over a time span of 50 years. The clock every now and then starts ticking. It just ticks every now and then. It works a little while. Then it stops ticking for another 10 or so years, and then it'll start ticking again. Lots of times when I come up to people, or they come up to Yankee, they say, I used to have a car just like this. And the worst mistake I ever made was to get rid of it. Well, one time in, I think it was the Price Club, a fellow was standing by Yankee, and he said, I used to have a car like this. And so I kind of interrupted him, and I said, and the worst thing you ever did was to get rid of it. He said, no, that damn car broke down on the way to my wedding. I thought for an instant, and I said, are you still married to the same woman? He said, no, that wonderful car was trying to tell me something. Oh, and here I am up at the top, waving. Lots and lots of people. I've got a pile about this big. It could threw it up in the air, it'd be quite a bit of confetti, that have left notes under Yankee's windshield wipers or in the window. And whenever I get one, I put the date on it and where I found it, and just keep them. And I might sell him. I do have him willed to a dear friend, but we might talk about that. My mother was after me for a long time, and I'm so pragmatic. She said, you don't have to get rid of Yankee. You could keep 2. What would I do with 2 cars? Roam and ride them down the road? I don't know. I don't know. So I keep Yankee. I don't know for how long. I guess my father was Swiss. His parents were both born in Switzerland, and I was raised that you don't get rid of them things if you can still fix them up. And so I've been fixing for a long time, and the Yankees had a lot of wonderful doctors, doctors who have loved him. When I drive in, usually it's been over many years, they'll stop what they're doing and come out and say, okay, what do we have to do for Yankee now?